Hey everyone, hope you're having a fantastic day. And what we're going to be going over today is the time that I caught the dealership service department joyriding my Hellcat Redeye. So I guess let's just go ahead and jump right into the story. So back in, I believe it was July or August, probably July, took the car in to get an oil change. Now I know what y'all are going to be saying, well, why don't you just do the oil change yourself? Trust me, I know how to do oil changes. But when I bought the car, the dealership offered me, I believe it was two or three free oil changes. So I'm gonna take them up on it because, you know, that's like $100 in this thing, so I'm not gonna turn down free money. So took the car in for its oil change, and then I proceeded to, you know, walk around the lot, because when I'm there I like to go see all the new cars, go in, sit inside of them and take a look. So I was there, didn't leave. I was there the whole time. Car's back there doing its doing the oil change, and then you know, about an hour goes by, they do the oil change, and then I'm standing in the lot, and then I see my car coming from the road back onto the lot, and I'm like, that's weird. If you're just doing an oil change, there's no reason to take it for a test drive afterwards. So that got me thinking, and then went to pick up the car, or walked up to the service bay. You know, they pulled it into the service bay, where normally if they just change the oil, it's parked off on the side so you can just drive away and leave. Well, so there's this thing I do every single time I drop the car off for service. And no, it's not going to be valet mode. I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, why don't you just use valet mode? Because, you know, my opinion on that is, if I'm dropping the car off to you for service at the dealership, I shouldn't have to put it in valet mode, because you shouldn't be taking the car anywhere. It should be, I should drop it off, you pull it back into the shop, you do the oil change, you bring it right back out. That's it. There should be no reason for me to have to put it in valet mode. So what I did, or what I do every single time that I drop the car off, is there's a top speed indicator in the performance pages. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys that now. All right, so let's get in here. Let's see if I can just do it without starting the car up. There's no reason to start it up. All right, so, all right, let me close the door so it stops beeping. All right. Dang, a lot of beeping. So here's vehicle info. Performance. So you want to go down to your third tab, your performance pages. So you got your 0 to 60, your 100, eighth mile, quarter mile, braking distance, G-forces, peak G-forces, and then at the very end, top speed. Ignore what that says right now, but that was actually, I figured out where that's from. That was from when we had the car on the dyno. I did not hit that on a public road. So when you go to park your car or give it off to the dealership, if you want to make sure that they don't, or you want to see how fast they drove it, you go ahead and hold OK right here on the steering wheel. So you go ahead and hold that, and what it does is it resets it to 0 miles per hour. So as soon as you start driving, it'll click up, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however fast they go. Should be, you know, what, maybe 10, 15 miles an hour, pulling it around to the shop. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump back out real quick. All right, so as you can see, it said 0 miles per hour. Well, when I picked the car back up, or as soon as I walked back in to pick the car up, it said 102 miles per hour. So, clearly when this service tech took my car back out onto his little test drive to go joyride it, he felt the need to hit 102 miles per hour on it, while also driving. I think I checked the mileage on it too. So he put 5 miles on the car and hit 102 miles per hour. Now, keep in mind, where the dealership is located, right across the street from the dealership, or like down, you know, maybe a quarter of a mile, is a state police barracks. And it is one of the most heavily patrolled roads in my whole county right now. So at that point, I wasn't necessarily mad that the tech took it out and hit 100 miles an hour. Like, I'm not worried about this car hitting 100 miles an hour. I do it all the time at the track, of course. So I wasn't mad that he took it to 100 miles an hour. My problem was that he took it out on the most heavily patrolled road in our county and went more than double the speed limit. And if a police officer would have caught him and pulled him over, probably would have impounded my car when it should have been in for service. So that was what really upset me the most about the whole situation. Like, obviously he shouldn't have taken it out at all. I should not have had to use valet mode to get the oil change done at the dealership. But I called him anyway because I saw him pulling it back in, and I saw him, the top speed set to 102 miles an hour then. So upon doing that, before I even drove off, like, I got in the car, I scrolled down to those performance pages, saw the top speed, turned the car off, went back in, talked to the service manager or wanted to talk to the service manager, but he wasn't there. It took about a week and a half for the general manager of the dealership, after multiple phone calls, and then we had to write a bad review online to actually get them to contact me, which is so weird because I had bought multiple cars from them before, and to not get a call back or an apology or like something, it took them almost 2 weeks for me to set up a meeting with them. And then of course when I went in, it was the whole, oh yeah, we're so sorry, should have never happened. Of course they were going to fire the guy, but magically it was his last day on the job anyway, so when he joyrode my car, he had already put in his 2 weeks notice, and I guess was just out having fun. Either way, it doesn't excuse the fact that what he did was wrong. So after buying, you know, I think I bought 5 or 6 cars from the dealership at that time. I have since switched dealerships. All the videos you see at Heritage is not the dealership that I'm talking about here. I switched to Heritage from this dealership, which is why you see all the content coming from Heritage now and not my previous dealership where I actually bought the Hellcat from. So let's recap what you can do as an owner if you have a Hellcat or Scatpack or some sort of car with some performance measuring stuff. One of the ways you can do if you don't want to use valet mode is to reset the top speed indicator in the car, so that way you can see if when you do give your car over to somebody else exactly how fast they drove it, because I know the valet mode limits the horsepower output. It bumps it down to 500 mode. I'm not sure if there's a speed limiter on it. I would assume there would be, but like I said, I took it to a dealership that I trusted to not do this. The dealership that I bought the car from, not just some random dealership, a dealership that I had relationships with for multiple years and bought, probably half a dozen cars from. And for them to do that, it's not a good way of doing business. Obviously, they said the guy had been fired from that point, but it's still the way that the managers handled it. I'm done. But that's one way you can protect yourself if you don't want to use valet mode, because you shouldn't have to use valet mode. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. A little bit of a story time, I guess. A little bit of a mini rant, but also letting you guys know how you can protect yourselves when you're going to the dealership and make sure you're keeping tabs on what your car is doing. So that's going to be it for today. This week we're actually going to go to the dealership and film some more car reviews. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and press like on this video and subscribe for more content, and leave a comment below if anything like this has happened to you before and what you've done in your scenario, I guess, to what you did to resolve it. But yeah, like I said, that's going to be it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.